Zavolzhie is a so-called monotown. That means that the life in it strongly depends on the work of the ZMZ activity. And in 2010, this dependence brought us to the fact that many people were discharged on grounds of staff reduction, and the town was at the top of unemployed list in Nizhny Novgorod region. It was put into the program of support to monotowns of the kind. The citizens know well what depression and uncertainty in future are. The young people began to leave their native town for other places. It's difficult now to struggle with this problem. Zavolzhie was an industrial center. Now it's a town of pensioners. Do we have future? This is an actual question now for everybody. Now I connect my future only with Nizhny Novgorod. But on weekend, I come here. I like my town for its beauty. I'd like to live and work here, but now I work and live in Nizhny. When I have spare time, I come here to my town. The new program of diversification of the town economy changes the situation for the better. Now the dependence on the motor plant is only 25%. There appeared new small but intensive productions. The industrial park has been registered on the territory of the motor plant. The support has been given to small productions. The new governor of Nizhny Novgorod region, Gleb Nikitin, has declared the town of Zavolzhie to be the territory of advanced economic development. The town and the people of it are changing now, but not so quickly as we want. And our company, Freunderberg Politex, is in front of this process. We began our history in the town of Zavolzhie in 2004, when in September we registered our company. In December, we bought and began to reconstruct one of the buildings of Zavolzhie plant of Caterpillar tractors, where we are now. In July of 2006, we started with our production on the first production line. That was the production of unique materials for bitumen-covered diaphragms. Our investment was nearly 500 million rubles. In September 2006, we opened the plant. In 2008-2009, we didn't stop our development and started reconstruction of another building. In 2010, there appeared the second line of production of geotextile materials. For you to understand what it is, I'll explain it later. We invested about 50 million rubles in it. In 2012, there appeared another, the third line for production of the same bitumen cover diaphragms, for which we have invested 800 million rubles. These investments allowed us to become the greatest producer of this kind of materials, not only for our Russian clients, but for the whole world. The stockholders and top managers of this well-known international production group give a good example of effective business and social partnership to their Russian colleagues. The leaders of Freunderberg Politex give a good lesson to them how to organize the dialogue with local powers and how to support, including charity, the people of those places where the plants are situated. In the middle of September of 2018, the leaders of high level from Freunderberg Politex visited the town. They were John McHarb, Chief Technical Director of the group Freunderberg Performance Materials, and Thomas Herr, Chief Financial Director of the group Freunderberg Performance Materials. They got acquainted with the hostess of the town, Mrs. Zhskova, and visited the Emerald Islands. Then they shared their impressions with our journalists.
Well, this is the first time for me here in Russia.
Да, я первый раз здесь, в России.
And I got my first impression from Andrei, who invited me here for many years to come visit him.
И первое впечатление России у меня было как раз из-за нашего знакомства, потому что я его много-много лет приглашал приехать в Россию.
He speaks very highly of the city and the people and his business, so I wanted to come.
Он очень много и хорошо говорил о городе, о людях, которые здесь живут, и, конечно, мне было очень интересно приехать и посмотреть.
I've had a very positive impression of the people here. The food has been great.
Мне очень понравились люди здесь. Здесь еще и прекрасно кормят.
And I looked on Wikipedia, That is how I got some information about the city and how the size of it, how it's built on a river. So I did some research on the internet before I arrived.
Creating the comfortable town surroundings is the prime task for all power levels for about 2 years already for the whole country. This program is being realized in yards and all social places all over the country, in the cities, towns, settlements and villages. When new objects, fashionable installations, comfortable benches, street lamps appear in the streets and parks, when the roads are being repaired, new playgrounds are organized, sport clubs are built, then you see that the changes are coming just now. How to make the monotowns be the territories of new abilities for the people there can get good salaries and live comfortably. This is a difficult task for business, power and people themselves. This is the idea of the leader of the German company.
Some words about our plans regarding E-Square projects. Are we going to continue our projects?
Yeah, I think it is important that we get the support of the mayor, but also of the citizens. You know, we have started these projects, we have provided some funds, but also the time, the dedication of our people like Andre, but also the people in the factory that supported the program. And now we need the citizens of Zavolzhie to step in, to maintain these nice garden areas, to make it alive, to meet there, to fill it with life. Because there's such a lot to do here in the city, and there's a lot of hope for the people to really develop the city, and we've seen the pictures, the old pictures of the city, so beautiful. So yeah, we are committed to this project, but we also need the support of the citizens of Zavolzhie.
Freunderberg Politex continues their successful business in Russia, in Zavolzhie, and it doesn't depend on economical and political crisis in our country and in the world. This company is also famous for its sponsorship in different social and ecological projects in other regions of the world. In 2016, Mrs. Zhistkova became the hostess of the town, and the great changes in the town began. Thanks to Mrs. Zhistkova, the cooperation of the plants in Zavolzhie stood on a new level, and the pioneer in all these projects is Freunderberg Politex. Thanks to Mr. Decker, the general director of the subdivision of the company in Zavolzhie, the town got the first grant for realization of the town ecological purpose in 2016. This grant was spent on the restoration of the fountain in the central square of the town. On the 9th of May 2017, the first Emerald Island and the restored fountain were opened. Thank you for a marvelous fountain, for the square, nice benches, beautiful trees. Thank you very much. Now we have the place to live a rest with children. It's wonderful. Last year, Freunderberg Politex gave the money to another territory of the town, Dzerzhinsky Avenue. In cooperation with enterprises and employers, Freunderberg Politex started the ecological project for the young people. We create the future on the basis of the Zavolzhie Business Incubator. The ecological education is really very important for our future, for the future generations of Russia. It's important to attract our attention to ecology from the childhood. We want to see your town contemporary, increasing, active and progressive. To my mind, this camp will help to solve this problem and will work for the image of the town as a quickly amazing perspective town. And the children in the camp are the active citizens of Zavolzhie. It's important for every town. On the 4th of November 2017, we had a big holiday in the town, and one more Emerald Island was opened, Island number 2. I think the park became more beautiful and clean, many roads and trees. It's pleasant to walk here. Moreover, it became light. There is a special playground for small children. They're happy. We're glad to have a good place for walking. It's light because of the street lights. There were none. Now the children can safely go to sport clubs in the evening. When we were young, there was a park here. Now, when we are old, the park became also old. The young people and children need a good, accurate park. We are glad to have it now. I'm grateful for this park and the children's playground. We are pensioners and we walk here because it's very dry, clean and nice. Thank you. Thanks to the same company Freunderberg Politex and their new grant, the project Emerald Islands was continued, and in 2018 much work has been done in the town district Гидростроительный, where the old square, the 1st of May, was reconstructed. Old and dangerous trees were cut. There appeared new pavements, street lamps and benches. One more enterprise took part in it, Nizhegorодskaya hydropower station. A new sport ground appeared thanks to the other sponsors. This place for the rest and sport was opened on the 4th of November, our national holiday. There was organized a merry holiday by the local actors after the speeches of the officials. Dear citizens, you live in this district, the oldest district in the town. That's why we came to you together with Freunderberg Politex, Nizhegorодskaya hydropower station and other sponsors to make your district well equipped, comfortable, clean and cozy. Now we are together in one project. Thank you everybody. Only together we can get such a result. We have a park, a sport ground and even gates for playing football. I believe it will be a center of your rest. You'll come here to rest, to communicate, and maybe you make a nice flower bed with your own hands. This is a special district in your town. Many people live in private houses and they know how to love the place where they live. They are good and careful hosts. I want to congratulate you on the opening of such a good park, Emerald Islands. I have a good opportunity to say the words of gratitude to the General Director of Freunderberg Politex, Mr. Deco, for his grant. Thank you, Mrs. Zhistkova. Thank you for these birch trees that you saved them in this project. They are very close to our heart. Mr. Sherbakov was in the head of this project, Emerald Islands, and Mrs. Zhistkova was responsible for all the work. If we organize such good, nice places of rest, we must be responsible for them, and we are to give the money to keep them in order. I speak on behalf of the deputies of Duma and the hostess of our town. Everything is going according to the plan and time schedule. Now we are making the roads for walking. Thanks to the project Emerald Islands, there have been revived the tradition of subotniks. After the revolution and the wars, Russian people worked free of charge on Saturdays. Children and adults planted many trees and bushes. Many families and friends' companies work hard here to make parks and yards beautiful. We grew the plants at home and we want to plant them in the center of the town. Where did you take the plants? We grew them in our gardens. Is it your idea? Yes, we did it ourselves. I grew many plants and I want to share them with my town. It's a real pleasure that your plants will color your town.
И глаза закрываю, на миг забыв, что я городская сейчас. Эта песня «Синий простор», край родимый напомнила мне. И девчонку ту, что с недавних пор часто вижу я во сне.
Hello, I'm Ted. This is our yard. We are glad to take part in this project, which was supported by Freunderberg Politex and the heads of our town. Will take care of this ground. We are waiting for the sports ground and children's ground. We hope for this. Thank you very much. It should be mentioned that the example given by Freunderberg Politex, hydropower station and sponsors was nice and make the citizens be more active and responsible in the improvement of the town. It depends on you whether your town will be nice and cozy. There was organized a contest, I Love Zavolzhie, 2 years ago, which stimulates the citizens for good deeds in their yards and houses. The initiator of it was Mrs. Pushkova, and we support her. This town gave me much, and I want to pay tribute to it with my good attitude, and that's why I organized this contest. I'm a florist, and it goes without saying that I'd like to see my town in the hips of flowers. What do you mean when you say that you love your town? It's the same when you say that you love your house. You are take care of it, for your town must be clean and cozy as your house is. Nobody will do it but you yourself. You are to be a human being, a homo sapiens. Then everything will be okay. If we want to have responsible and active citizens in future, we are to begin from childhood. Freunderberg Politex understands it and organizes summer rest for our children. The name of the project, We Create Future, was given by Mrs. Zhestkova. The main idea of it, to teach children to love their town, to take care of the environment, to make comfortable their town. In future, they will be good hosts of the place where they live. When we were walking today together with my friends, I saw a boy who threw the bottle on the road. I took it and threw it into the bucket. I think it was simply the example instead of a reprimand, but I believe it works. I want to believe in it, and the other people watch it. It's important for everybody to appreciate their hometown. Children in this program do not only get new knowledges and habits, but become friends. Their families also become friends. The children and their parents took part in water trip down the Uzola River together. I was very much surprised when my child asked me to come to the administration and suggest them to organize such a project for the new year. The idea is that they became good friends and they can organize their own groups for supporting the other projects. I'm very much obliged for this project. It's great and genius. The projects of the kind are very popular in Europe and in America, and I believe they will be popular here in Russia, in Zavolzhie. It changed the children's minds. We hope that Mr. Deco will hear us and continue this project. All the participants of the project will never forget their meeting with the General Director of Freunderberg Politex, Mr. Deco, and the excursion to the plant which was organized by him. We have increased the volume of trade from 1.5 billion rubles to 2.5 billion rubles for the last 5 years. We've got 3 production lines, but only 100 people work here. It's not much, but it's evident that our production is highly automated and we don't need much personnel. We don't have physical labor. The personnel simply conducts serious, complicated, expensive machines. For us, it's primarily important that we don't do what is not good or dangerous for people. We don't produce weapon or poison. All our products are useful for people. Our cover materials are useful themselves. Moreover, we use plastic bottles for our production. We are the greatest plant for recycled products in European Union. We recycle about 2.5 billion of plastic bottles a year. In the middle of summer, in one of the yards in Zavolzhie Avenue, there was opened a football ground, a holiday for boys. Some hours later, some parents mowed all the grass in the yard and made a small football ground for the children to play football in Zavolzhie Avenue, house number 50. If the child watches his parents organizing a football ground for them, he will never throw a plastic bottle or an empty packet. I live here. My children play here. I played here when I was a boy. We must change our mind and help our administration. This story is a small positive example for future changes in mind, which was initiated by the company Freunderberg Politex. I wanted to make my town better, and it worked. I wanted to change my town for the better. It's my beloved town. It needs our support. This project has changed my mind. Before it, I had other plans, to study in St. Petersburg or maybe in Nizhny Novgorod and to stay there for the future life. Now I see that I can do all this here in my native town. It's a very cool project. I suggest you to come here. Thanks to the business incubator, Mr. Decker, for such a wonderful project.